Call the Tuesday, October 5th, Laporte Board of Public Works meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Member Romine.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this is a pretty comfy seat. We have to switch these chairs out. All right, so Mayor Dermody is unable to be here today. He's actually, I believe, presenting at a mayor's conference. So really awesome to have him kind of representing our community down there. I believe it's in French Lick today. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of the September 21st meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Any discussion?
Oh, no. Thank you.
None here either. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, those are approved. Next, we have public comment. Mr. Otis, any public comment coming in? Any public comment from the audience?
Nope.
Seeing none, we will move on. Next, Clerk Treasurer claims approval.
Great, thank you. We have civil city claims in the amount of $610,661.84.
I'll make a motion to approve the civil city claims.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, those are approved.
Sewage claims in the amount of $92,048.43.
Make a motion to approve the sewage claims.
Second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, those are approved.
We have water claims in the amount of $55,402.31.
Make a motion to approve the water claims.
Second. Any discussion?
Nope.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, those are approved.
Thank you. And then we've got third quarter payroll for $1,926.88.
Make a motion to approve third quarter payroll.
Second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
And then finally, regular payroll in the amount of $425,708.10.
Make a motion to approve the October 1st payroll.
Second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. So I don't even need to ask, really.
Yeah. I also have, at last night's city council meeting, we announced the retirement of our longtime friend, our deputy clerk treasurer, Joni Layman, who is here this morning. The mayor presented her with a proclamation. October 8th, 2021 is Joni Layman Day, as well as a key to the city of Laporte. I did want to share with Board of Works as well. So I'm going to read a little excerpt for myself, and then I'm going to read Joni Layman's retirement letter for you all. It's Mayor, City Council, and Board of Public Works. On September 10th, I received a teary notice of retirement from Joni Layman, Deputy Clerk Treasurer, that I would like to share with all of you. What Joni has done for the city of Laporte is something more commendable and brave than most know, and much more than I can possibly describe. I can now tell you from personal experience how in awe I am of what Joni has accomplished before, during, and after Teresa Ludlow passed away. Her hard work and dedication to the city of Laporte throughout the 23 years she served is no small feat, but Joni single-handedly kept the city in compliance financially and poured her heart and soul into her work while her dear friend Teresa Ludlow is not able to. Joni continues to teach and train and is the cool, calm, and collected in our office that we've needed. Her job is not easy and is not acknowledged as much as it should be, but it is essential and important for the city to function. Over the last 2 years, Joni has become someone I admire and respect, and has also become a dear friend to me. I wish Joni and her whole family, including her favorite kids, her grandkids, the best time together in Joni's retirement. We will miss her deeply. And then this is Joni's letter of retirement. She says, "Dear Courtney, it's with both sadness and excitement that I submit my notice of retirement. The 23 years I have served the citizens of Laporte have been both wonderful and difficult. I'm looking forward to traveling and spending time with my family, especially my 3 grandchildren. I want to thank the mayors, council members, and Board of Works members that I've had the privilege of working with during my time with the city. I was trained by the best, Teresa Ludlow, not only a tremendous clerk treasurer, but also a dear friend. The last 20 months have been a different kind of challenge for the city with a global pandemic, and I can say without a doubt that Courtney Parthune has met those challenges with innovative solutions, all while doing the day-to-day tasks required of clerk treasurer's office. I'm confident that she will continue to serve the city with utmost dedication to the citizens of this fine city. My replacement, Ashley Knoll, has hit the ground running to learn as much as she can, and I have no doubt that she'll be a valuable asset to the clerk treasurer's office. I'm leaving knowing that the city has the best team in place. My last day with the city of Laporte will be Friday, October 8th. I'm happy to do everything I can to make this transition smooth. I wish the city of Laporte and all of you the best of luck in the years to come. Sincerely, Joni Layman." Thank you, Joni.
Yes, thank you, Joni. We certainly can't do justice to either of those 2 letters, and nor what Mayor Dermody has highlighted, but only have coming to know you here over the last several months since 2020. It's obvious and very clear the value you've brought to the city, to this board, to everything in the operations of the city over many years. So really, thank you so very much for all of your work, and just hearing from everyone else, it's very obvious, and I think we should all be very thankful for her work and how she has really set the stage and laid the foundation for continued great work in the department. So thank you very much.
Good with that. I'll present it.
And we'll look forward to October 8th, right? That'll be fantastic. So
Well said. Thank you.
I'd love to touch the key to the city maybe sometime, so maybe, we'll see. All right, well, I guess we have to,
No. I already told her I wasn't going to vote for this. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the resignation letter, the retirement letter.
we could let it die for lack of a second, too. but,
Yeah, we could.
but
She deserves this.
respectfully,
You definitely deserve this, Joni.
Absolutely, it's very well earned, so I second. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Thank you so much, Joni. All right, new business. A request for use, Taco Fest. And I think that,
Jess Bruder.
Just
oh,
Bruder.
that's right, yeah, Jess.
Good morning. Just I think you have in front of you, just want to request that we're able to close this Monroe Street from Lincoln Way to State for Taco Fest. That'll be on October 15th from 5 to 10. We'll have a taco cook-off among some already pre-selected taco vendors, music, dancing, and beer as well.
Awesome. I'll approve Taco Fest.
Second. Any discussion?
And we are contacting again all the businesses and letting them know and having conversations, right? Okay, great.
Thank you for doing that.
Yep, no problem.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That is approved. Thank you. Next, contract between the City of LaPorte, Indiana, and Diani Realty LLC.
Yep, not as, well, exciting, but not as exciting as Taco Fest, I would say. But this is kind of an initial contract between the City of LaPorte and Diani Realty.
That's okay, I can do it later.
And I'm going to have Bert Cook come up too, but I'll kind of briefly explain and let Bert add on. They have acquired what are now the vacant parcels along Pine Lake Avenue adjacent to the Park Department administration building. And we are working with them. There is a small parcel that the city owns that is on Pine Lake Avenue. The reason that we're working with them like this is that the idea is eventually that they are going to purchase this small parcel from the city, and that they're going to give the city an easement for trucks and I believe dumpsters that the park department keeps on the backside of what is their property. So this is an exciting project, $3 million investment, 18,500 square foot multi-tenant retail facility on Pine Lake Ave. What they're agreeing to is to pay for all surveys necessary for the real estate transaction, all appraisals, the to-be-determined sales price of the parcel, and I don't have it in front of me, but the assessed value is pretty low, approximately $10,000 to $15,000 would be my guess. And they'll pay all closing costs necessary for the transaction. We may have to, depending on the assessed value and a few other things, we may have to get appraisals, and so we're asking for them to pay for that up front. And Bert, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, Bert Cook, Executive Director of the Laporte Economic Advancement Partnership. So Nick did a good job summarizing the project. I'll just mention briefly, this is the location where the Dock Smokehouse is set to open here after the building is constructed. And then I'll also highlight, this is the first step in this transfer. The park board we're working directly with them, with Mark Schreiber, looking at this collectively, city as a whole. So as we kind of take each step, we want to make sure that we're appropriately protecting each department. And so the park board or the city are not going to have to shoulder the costs associated with Diani Realty considering purchasing this parcel. And so the expectation is that they will purchase it, but if they don't, those costs are still theirs and not turned to the city.
Great. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Second. Any discussion? Just so, quick question with the easement is not on the easement we're looking for access to the back of the park department is not on the properties they currently own.
No.
But it's on the separate property that we anticipate them.
No,
Is that right, correct?
Technically, the way the parcels come together in the area, our park department is using property that is actually on their property at this point. It's been that way for a long time. They're fine with that, and that's part of why we're facilitating this transfer. So we want to make sure we carve out an easement or the space that our park department needs in order to access their dumpsters and their parking lot in the rear of the property. And accordingly, we're considering this transfer up front, which is the parcel that the city owns along Pine Lake Avenue. So it's a little bit of a swap type situation, but really it's an easement versus an actual property transfer.
Okay, so basically in the easement, would the easement come out to Pine Lake Avenue? I'm
No.
just having trouble picturing.
No,
this.
it's the parking lot behind the Parks Department building.
Oh, so it's,
Yeah,
okay.
so, and these are the dumpsters that the Parks Department employees dump all of the dumpsters in our parks. They take them to those dumpsters, so it's important that we keep them there.
It's a small parcel. It's about 15 feet by 125 feet. So we're talking a very small easement.
Okay. And then so basically with this agreement, we are totally fine with this easement, like it.
Yeah, and the easement and the sale are not happening yet. All you're approving is kind of the surveys, the appraisal, and that they will pay the closing costs, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So really, it's a-
survey is the actual item that we absolutely need next. But we don't want the city to pay for that. So
Right.
the agreement allows them to ultimately shoulder the cost of that. We can hire out the survey work and then continue to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good situation. They're paying for what we're asking them to do.
Absolutely.
And they've already signed this, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, discussion? All right, all in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so that passes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is 150 Pine Lake Avenue, commonly known as the Don George Building. The city has twice now requested bids for this property. The first time, the city received one bid, and we rejected that, rebid it, and received two bids. We met with one of the bidders, who is Mr. Lebesnick from McDonald's, is here today. After considering the two bids, the administration is requesting that the Board of Works reject the bids, and pursuant to Indiana Code 36-1-11-4, the Board of Works must make a written determination to reject all bids. The administration's requesting the Board of Works reject all bids for the 150 Pine Lake Ave, commonly known as Don George property, because the bids did not conform with the city's future use for the site and the city's master plan for the development of its lake systems. Already, in the event that the Board of Works today rejects the bids, the Redevelopment Commission has already approved paying for the demolition of the Don George buildings. And this, simply, if you reject these bids today, this does not foreclose us, for example, from working with Mr. Lebesnick or somebody else in the future for the development of this site. But what's important right now is getting that building down. It's in really, really bad shape. They're literally falling apart. And I know when we met with Mr. Lebesnick, there's homeless people that it's a problem. So it needs to come down. So we can get those down, and then potentially it makes it, whether it's with Mr. Lebesnick or a different group, maybe more developable, correct, yep, that they don't have that, who knows what that exact cost is to tear down. So I don't know if, Mr. Cook, do you have anything to add on this?
RDC is paying for this, for the demo?
Correct.
Yes, I don't really,
Yep.
I think Nick did a great job. The RDC, obviously, this is one of those projects that involves multiple levels of government, and the Redevelopment Commission is committed to making sure that we find a path, forward for this property. So they funded the demolition. I completely agree with Attorney Otis that we'll get the buildings down, we'll rectify that particular issue, and then we have the flexibility moving forward to consider what happens next. The worst thing that I could imagine happening on this parcel is to make a rash decision that maybe doesn't conform with the strategic vision that the city has, and then regret that later on, because it is in the center of our city. It's an extremely important area, adjacent to Newport Landing. Many of our departments are working hard right now in how we better utilize our lakes and how we make connections there, and this parcel falls along that path as well. So by moving forward, rejecting the bids, getting the demolition to occur, I think we've got great flexibility in the future with what we might want to do with the property.
So are we in this, and I know we should probably just, I'll make a motion to approve the rejection of the bids.
Second.
So does that mean then if we're rejecting the bids that we're also at the same time giving RDC permission to demo?
They've
That'll
already
be a
approved,
separate-
they've already approved that within, as I understand it, I was not at that meeting, is that correct, Bert?
They have approved it. I think your question, though, is does the Board of Public Works have to
Approve the demo.
Approve the demo. That would be a good question for
Right, I don't think you have to approve that today.
I'm just wondering the timeline.
Right.
Is that going to be brought up before us at another board meeting? Are we able
So
to?
we gave any interested parties who bid on the project 90 days for demo. I'm assuming we will conform to the same schedule, meaning we will have it done before the end of the year. So you should have
Okay.
multiple opportunities once we've received bids.
Okay, because that seems, really time-wise and timeline-wise, and I'm sure that Chief Breton would agree with everything going on in there with homeless people or drug use or whatever's going on, the sooner the better for the demolition of that
Yeah,
building.
absolutely. You also have neighboring parcels like, Mr. Lebesnick's parcel, McDonald's, that I think we owe them making sure that we're rectifying our issue, which is the safety and the kind of health of that area. So I know Mayor Dermody isn't here, but I'm sure if he was, he would be very adamant that the building will come down as soon as we possibly can get it down, which we're very confident will be in the next 60, 90 days at most.
Okay,
I think if we don't have a company hired, I think Mayor will be out there himself with taking it down.
So I guess maybe, is there anything we can do to facilitate this moving faster today? Or,
So, when the redevelopment commission authorized to bid the demolition, they already started that process. They won't award necessarily until this is complete, but David Heinold, our city planner, already initiated the bidding process on that, so.
Oh, fantastic.
Bids have gone out. They should be received on the 18th? October 18th.
the bids.
Yeah, so then they'll be available to the redevelopment commission, and I believe it's a 45-day window, which gets it down by the end of the year.
So
Okay.
October
Okay.
27th is the next redevelopment commission meeting. I would assume they would award at that meeting.
Okay.
45 days from then, the buildings would be down.
Okay.
And I guess the additional comment I'll make, I was in the meeting with Sam Lebesnick, but I know talking with the other developers that they've got some great ideas, but I can imagine as a business person, and Jesse, you're an accountant, how, they can't, it's hard to guarantee or promise they'll do something when they don't even know what the demo costs. It could be pretty substantial, and so getting this down while it's a cost to the taxpayers, it potentially makes it more attractive to future development. It's a very large parcel, so.
Yeah, that'll open it up for a much better use, I think. I think it's a great thing. Do we have any idea what the demo costs are gonna be?
Nick,
Does RDC have an idea or a budget on it?
what are the demo?
Do you have any, that you
we-
can share with us?
We usually don't, but
Okay,
we actually, we are hopeful that the bids are somewhere between 50 and 70,000 is what we hope.
Okay.
But bidding anything's been difficult lately. Prices seem to,
good point.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Real quick on the demo, is the whole, all of the buildings being demoed, or just the front building?
all of the buildings.
All of the building, okay.
It's a good opportunity, clean slate, right? To
Yeah.
go from there for whoever.
The other
chooses
thing
to
I might
work on
just
it.
mention, that we didn't touch on, but I think it's important, in our meetings with other developers who were interested in this, one of the things the city has maintained all along is making sure that we have some public right-of-way space in order to access Lily Lake there, which I think is important to this group, it's important to our city council, it's important to our city as a whole. So that is something that we've a constant that's occurred in all of our communications, and we would expect that to continue moving forward, so that we protect our ability to access Lily Lake in that area as well.
Okay.
Is the RDC gonna want, once this is sold to a developer, is the RDC gonna want to be repaid for the demo costs, or how does that work?
The redevelopment commission was made aware that there was the potential, but that money would actually be determined where it goes through the council. So whatever is
Okay.
received through, because it's city-owned property, the council would then allocate that either to the rainy day fund, or they could move it into a redevelopment commission fund. But they were kind of made aware that the greater good was to make sure that we can have a clear developable site, and it benefits the kind of the mission of the redevelopment commission, and they may or may not be able to recoup those funds.
In some part or all?
Yeah.
Okay,
I wouldn't
Made whole.
expect, I don't think the RDC is expecting to be repaid. This is part of the
Okay.
plan for the areas.
okay, great,
All right.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic idea to kind of clean slate for any developers or entrepreneurs, and we've had some, great presentation and great entrepreneurs that support us, so.
I think Mr. Lebesnick would like to speak.
Oh.
Yes?
Sure.
Well, if I may, I know these gentlemen weren't on the agenda, and I was referenced several times. A couple requests I would put out to the board. One, the request in the meeting that was referenced, the access to Lily Lake was requested and granted in the bid. Two, the master plan that they're referencing for Lily Lake and the others was referenced and committed to working with in my bid. However, the master plan was created after the bidding deadline. They met after the deadline. So this puts any bidders who did follow the city's deadline at quite a disadvantage as to see the cards are on the table. So it's just a bit of a hard pill to swallow, if you would, to comply with the city's guidelines, to meet with the city's representatives, ask what's asked for, write up an offer that clearly is generous comparison to the others within the bid timeline. And if safety is truly the thing, I have a company already ready to go. The estimates have been made, and the risk of going over budget is already on mine. They could most likely get shovels in the ground before this committee has a bid process back. So as we go through there, and as soon as the master plan for the lakes was discussed, I had absolutely no issue with working with the city's plan. Just simply, it had not been written down. The meeting for it happened after the bidding process was closed. So I asked the council to consider that in moving forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's certainly a tough spot, right, because of the situation with bidders, as Mr. Lubezny just identified. It does, I mean, I have to say, like, you know, it doesn't feel good to reject these bids that are out there, even that those, you know, given the situation that he kind of highlighted. But I think it's a difficult spot sort of for everyone. I think it'd be, you know, I feel like it's hard to go against the direction that we're looking to take, especially with the administration. And at least at that point, even though would put some extra work on any bidders to then rebid again. Certainly that's the case, which is not wonderful, but I think we're not in an ideal situation here. So that's just, those are kind of my comments on that. Any other last thoughts, discussion?
No, I don't disagree, and I appreciate that you shared your thoughts with us and your feelings, and I think that ultimately we do have to focus on, as the RDC is trying to, what is best for the city of Laporte and the right-of-ways and whatnot, and so I think the greater good is what we're trying to focus on, and so I apologize for the way things played out, but I do think that this is in the best interest of the city to move forward in this manner.
Yeah, well, actually, well said. So I just thought of something to add to that. So in thinking about the best interests of the city, doesn't necessarily indicate that any, you know, a developer or entrepreneur that's already there with adjacent properties doesn't have the best interests of the city at heart, but this is really the way we need to go to make sure to kind of follow the plan for the RDC and the mayor.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right, that being said, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? All right, that passes. Thank you.
Mr. Kozier, I do have one item that was not on the agenda that Chief Snyder asked me to look at, and if I had no issue with it, to ask for approval. It is, and the reason I don't have an issue bringing this before you is we've previously been in this for 2 years now. It's Indiana State Opioid Response 3 Mobile Response Teams in Laporte County. Essentially, this is a, for lack of a better term, effectively a strike team of different groups that work with people with drug addiction. So I'll let Andy touch on it, but there's only one change from the previous contract, and that's actually paying our firefighters more money than previously paid. So if I could get a motion to approve, and then I can have Chief Snyder explain. This contract would be effective October 1st. It's a really good program for our community to address opioid problems.
We don't have that contract.
I have it right here.
You
Yeah,
have?
yeah.
Okay, we don't have copies of it, do we? in our
No, we just
packets?
got it this morning. Yep.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if
Yep.
if we look at this? I'm sorry. So this is a contract between, I'm just trying to understand.
Yep.
It's a memorandum of understanding. My apologies, like I said, we just received it late last night. That's why it was not on the agenda for today.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the MOU.
I'll second, and then,
Yeah, if you
Thanks. As
could give us
discussion,
more
yeah, we can-
information.
You've approved this, you approved this last year. The previous board approved it the year before. As Attorney Otis mentioned, it's almost verbatim to what the original plan was. It just, in the non-emergent call-out for the dollar amount has changed. It just went up by $10 an hour for our firefighters, as opposed to the $50 an hour that it was previous. It's now $60 an hour. The emergent call-out is the same as last year, and it also, it did define the time frame of an emergent call-out of 48
Yeah,
hours a
same.
little bit better. And I think that was one of the questions from last year too, was a little bit better definition of what actually those hours are. Again, my apologies that you're just getting it right now, but it's, Attorney Otis mentioned it did only go through September 30th of this year, and they just got it to us yesterday to take
Okay.
a back date to October 1st.
Chief Snyder, if you could just comment too, like on what your officers do.
What this entails is when there is an individual who is seeking help, peer coaches from HealthLink, this is the other entity in here, HealthLink are contacted, and they put together a team of, we have, I believe, 11 firefighters that are part of this team. city police officer or county police officer, and there are a couple of Michigan City police officers are also involved in it. And this team is put together immediately to meet with that individual and start the process to get that individual into the help that they need moving forward with recovery from addiction. So it's our part of it is to do a very quick medical examination like we would do as a patient as a response to an incident for a medical call. The police are there as a security as well as also, but none of us show up in uniform. It's important for them to see us in the aspect that we're just there to support them, not there as a authority figure or something like that. It's worked very well. A lot of individuals over these first couple of years have taken care of it. It's all grant money that the HealthLink has applied for and received a substantial grant to oversee this program. And like I said, we've had a lot of success stories so far.
So this is for individuals employed by the police or fire department that are in their off hours to participate in? So this is like so they're doing this outside of employment through the city?
That is correct, yes. Yeah, we
Okay.
do not overlap. None of the employees or firefighters or police officers are on duty at the time that they take these duty assignments.
Okay, and so then the only change to this agreement or this contract is that the rate went up from $50 to $60 per hour.
Right.
For those individuals.
And I think they defined it better to 48 hours as emergent call out as opposed to there was some questionability about between the 48 and 72 hour mark. This just specifies at a break point of 48 hours is anything sooner than that is an emergent call out. Anything before that is a non-emergent call out.
Okay.
Does HealthLink pay the individuals directly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually, Frontline as a third partner in this, and we submit call-out hours to Frontline, and then they go ahead and they process it through their organization to HealthLink, and then the checks are mailed directly to our firefighters or police officers.
And real quick, Chief Snyder, how do these calls happen? Is a family member call? Does the user call? Like what?
It can be a lot of different ways. I know that the recovery coaches and from HealthLink do have some connection with the ER, so when someone goes in on an overdose, they can be contacted in that way, and that's a number of them that happen that way, and they make contact with either the individual or families at that point in time. Or we, on our part of it too, when we run into individuals that are seeking help, we'll immediately point them in direction to this, the coordinator for Laporte County, and he will take care of it and take it from there.
And one last comment, Ms. Romine, this is an at-will agreement, so like
Yeah, I saw that
I don't see why we'd ever terminate it, but it
can be modified by mutual
right,
consent.
right.
Okay.
And we have 2 years of experience now with it, and just as Chief Snyder said, there's been I wouldn't even call them hiccups, but we just more clearly defined, like the 48-hour rule, for example, so.
Thanks, Chief.
Any further discussion or questions? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Thank you.
Passes. All right. Anything else, Mr. Otis?
No other surprises for you today.
Next, Jen Knoll.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, we have, looks like the job description. So we've got the utilities accounting administrator and utilities office manager positions for your review and approval. Once we kind of went over budgets, there was some, I guess, discussion regarding reorganizing the utilities office with Courtney Parthune, clerk treasurer. So these are the updated job descriptions, so just asking for your approval to move forward on those.
We're doing them both at once, right? Both the office manager and the accounting administrator?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the updated duties.
Second. Any further discussion or questions? All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
That passes. All right, thank you.
Next is our ever-changing communicable disease policy. You don't have a copy in front of you because I'm not requesting a change to that, merely requesting the suspension of the citywide mandate on the weekly testing requirement, as well as the mask requirement. This would then put the onus on the decision to test or require masks in the department head's hands. So if the department wants to continue on with that, that's fine, but we would request that we suspend the citywide mandate at this time.
Make a motion to approve.
Second? So this is a suspension of mask mandate and testing
Weekly
Or
testing.
unvaccinated.
across departments.
Yes.
However, within each department, depending.
They can go ahead and mandate if they wish, yes, for their department only.
So, for example, transport, I believe the drivers would still have to wear masks. Is that correct, Beth? Because of their federal
That's a
funding.
Yes, that's a
Federal.
federal policy, yep.
Does that mean they have to also be tested weekly, Beth? No, but they have to wear masks?
Yep.
Okay.
They have, anybody who rides on transport has to wear a mask. So when the driver has nobody on their bus, they're welcome to take their mask off, just like when you're driving your car. But when they have somebody on their bus, they have that mask, a face covering on.
Great. That makes sense. That puts the onus on each department so that they can monitor and determine what's best. I feel like that's very reasonable.
Yeah, I spoke with the mayor about this, and we talked about, of course, the improving rates, and it sounds like within the departments, there's a lot of support for going this direction, to be able to kind of, I guess, make that decision more like locally within the department. I know when I spoke with him, I expressed some concern about it, that, we're still certainly not out in a sort of a
Right.
great spot yet, but it does seem as though, given the individual departments, then putting that power there at the department head level, I think makes sense.
Sure.
Of course, it
Which
could always
just-
change, right, if things change, right?
Yes,
So that's,
it's an ever-changing policy.
Yeah.
I could be here next week,
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
Well, and I believe the fire department and the police department had already started instituting them wearing the masks regularly and other things before we had done this a
Right.
month ago or whatever, so. Great.
Right, any other discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, Chief Breton.
This is just a donation of a light bar that I have mothballed. I have several of them that aren't good for everyday use anymore, obsolete parts. Kingsbury Fire Department has, we've done this before, donated light bars to them. It's an LED light bar. Probably what I was gonna do is, we'll change it to all red for one of their fire trucks. And then we'll give them some actual modules for it that are obsolete. So if they have something go out, they'll have it. It's not worth anything to us where it's sitting, so I'm just asking for the permission to donate it to them.
We have to officially approve the donation
Correct.
then?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation.
All right. Second, any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Nick Minnick.
You should have received an agreement with NDOT for emergency vehicle preemption. This is the project we previously talked about and are in the process of rebidding to provide preemption for the fire department primarily, but it also will serve all other emergency services. Starting with a small area focused on the East Side Fire Station, but then hopefully expanding that throughout the city. So it's pretty boilerplate, pretty normal stuff. Would recommend approval.
See, we're moving along with this.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the preemptive agreement.
A second. Any discussion? Mr. Otis, everything good from your perspective on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have to jump through a lot of hoops to, you'd think we should be able to get this easily, but it's not always guaranteed. So.
All right.
And make sure we sign in blue.
You'll need to borrow a pen.
I think it's just a reminder too, till I became the city attorney, everybody just assumes we're in charge of Pine Lake Ave, Indiana Ave, and Lincoln Way, and it's just not the case. NDOT makes the decisions there, so.
excellent point. Yeah, I've talked to many people about various issues along streets, and it's like, well, that's state highway.
Right.
Or, yeah. Any other discussion or questions? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Jackson?
Oh, I still have one more.
Oh, we've got open quotes for Nick
Oh, okay.
for
The
Linwell Park.
Park Department received a grant to do some paving work at Linwald Park. So we do have a couple quotes to do some paving at Linwall, pave the parking lot and do some improvements there. I believe we received two.
Two bids,
Two bids.
quotes, I'm sorry. This is my favorite part, when you guys are watching me open.
Uh-huh, yeah.
The first one is from Reith Riley.
First quote from Reith Riley Construction is in the amount of $37,368. That's 37368.00.
The next one is from Milestone Contractors North Incorporated. There's a special trick to this, I think, but I just don't know yet. Here you go.
And the quote from Milestone is in the amount of $73,216.00. That's 73216.00. We solicited quotes from what we would consider qualified contractors, and I would recommend at this point to award to Reith Riley. We can make that contingent on engineering and legal review of the quote documents, but it does appear everything is here. Our estimate was right around 50,000, so one was a little below and one was a little above, and that does seem reasonable.
Great. Do we need to approve the quote?
I would approve, yes.
The Reith Riley, okay. I'll make a motion to approve giving the quote to Reith Riley,
Subject to legal.
subject to
engineering.
legal and
Yep.
engineering review.
Second, any discussion? I'll just comment, the park is very near and dear to my heart. I spent probably thousands of hours there growing up, so it's nice to see that there's some paving work going on. I imagine it's the parking lot, right?
Yes,
It's-
yep.
Okay.
It sounded like you wanted to make a donation.
I really should do that, thank you.
You could do
But maybe
another
not-
bike ride.
Not the parking lot, something else good, yeah, something fun. All right, so, let's see. Oh, all right. Jerry Jackson, unless there was anything else.
Well, I just can't believe you said parking lots aren't fun.
They're not fun to ride around in, so that is true. All right,
I've got pay request for the Truesdale Lift Station project. It's pay request number 2 in the amount of $98,818.92. That brings the job up to 88% complete. Funds for this comes out of the city bond. The really only thing left on the project is the generator, which hasn't arrived yet. But the station is operational, it's running right now, and it's connected to the bank's apartments. So that's all going. I recommend payment to H&G for pay request number 2.
I'll make a motion to approve.
second, any discussion?
The generator you said we're waiting on, is that just, it's taking a while because of COVID and everything else?
It
And
is.
there,
That was ordered very, very early in the project, as soon as it was awarded. So it's been all this time just waiting for it. They've poured the pad, they've got all the conduit over and the electrical connections all there ready to go. So the installation is not much. You set it and wire it, but yeah.
as soon as we get it.
Yep.
Do we have any idea when that might be?
They talked about the end of the month, so it's not too far off.
Oh, okay.
It's wired right now to use it, emergency temporary generator.
Yeah, we can bring our portable generator and wire it in if need be.
If need be, okay.
Yeah. And the banks now is just construction wastewater, not full operation, so that also we have a lot more time, should there be a problem.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion or questions? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Next, unfinished business. Right back at you.
I think we have wastewater hauler permit, gift septic service for Jerry.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's not
Is
on
that-
yours.
Oh, I guess, no wonder.
I think
Okay.
it's on my agenda, wastewater permit. Okay.
Yeah, I think that got added 'cause sort of late.
But it's the binded, it's the bound.
This.
Oh, gotcha, okay, all right.
Gift is a relatively new customer of ours. They, I believe they're from the Valpo area. And I'd recommend approval of their septic hauler permit.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, any discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. Yeah, at first I was thinking like, oh, you know what, I know I'm like kind of flipping the reading glasses on and off. I'm like, maybe I'm missing something there, and it's like, yeah, our agendas are different.
Just for fun.
Okay, so what's on yours first?
Now unfinished
Okay,
business.
now unfinished business.
Okay.
All right, Jerry.
On Mcclung Road sanitary bids last meeting, I read them incorrectly. Dana pointed that out to me after the meeting, so I couldn't correct it during the meeting. Let me read them again, so just make sure they're in the record and they're correct. H&G was $219,329.70. These are the base bids I'm reading. Selge was $254,910.50. Grimmer was $271,357.0. So on the base bid, H&G was low, which I reported incorrectly that Selge was low, because I had flipped the two bids. So I'd request that the board award the bid to H&G and request, this came quite a bit over budget with COVID numbers and everything. I'd also request that the board authorize me to negotiate to just get the core portion
That's
of this
right.
job.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing the section from East Shore Parkway up to the rail right away, and that catches the new development and the customers who are really having issues. I've contacted H&G and talked to Miles, they're their estimator, and they've had a conference. We're taking the job quantities down by almost a third, but they said they could hold their unit prices even at those lower quantities, 99% sure. We haven't really finished the negotiations and talking about all that, but it looks, they said 99, the phrase they used, 99% sure we can hold those unit prices. So,
And what was this? So wait, we need a motion first to accept H&G's bid?
yep.
Just that?
No, well, and the ability for Jerry to
To
negotiate. Yep.
negotiate? Okay, I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, second?
So
Mr.
then, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
wait, no.
I was just wondering, what was our budget for this, or
150,000.
150, and it's at 219, okay.
Yeah, and we should get there. The intent is the lateral connections, we're gonna go to the customers and say, hey, you need to pony up for the lateral connection costs. And those were the alternate items, so they can look at those numbers and say, yep, that's fine, I can do it, or no, I can't. So they have a number right there in the job and a contractor if they choose to use them. And
What is a lateral connection cost approximately?
To get the connection to the main and under the street into their property is around $3,500. I think the number I don't have the $3,600, I believe, was the number that H&G quoted. There's additional cost because they have to install a grinder pump and make that connection. So all told, they're somewhere in the order of $12,000 to get connected in operation with the electrical work and everything.
So isn't it typical that we would have, that lateral connections would be paid for by the property owner, or?
It's been done both ways. Sometimes when we're marching down the center of the street, tearing out the street, we'll bring a lateral over to the property line as part of the project.
Stop there.
And we stop there. This one's all directional drilling, so we were not cutting the street, so they can make those connections without cutting the street.
Okay. Any legal issues with this from in terms of like, having accepted and then
No,
changing?
no,
Okay.
because it still conforms to the original bid, correct?
It's a unit quantity contract,
Right,
so we
right.
can, yeah. So if
Okay.
the quantities change, it's still within the contract.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes.
Thank you.
Next, department reports. Start off, I can't remember what order Mayor Dermody goes, but we'll start off with Chief Snyder.
Thank you.
You can do whatever you want.
He can complain tomorrow, right?
Just a big thank you to everyone who came out for the open house this past weekend to kick off Fire Prevention Week. Seemed to be our best weekend or event so far, between like 500 to 600 people. So
Wow.
it's a real nice event. And
That's
weather
awesome.
cooperated after the first 10 minutes of rain. Turned beautiful for the rest of the time. And the other small little item, just to let the board know that our department does fall within the guidelines for the Pfizer booster shots, and a number of our individuals have already taken advantage of the Pfizer boosters.
All right, thank you.
That's great.
That's a great turnout. Chief Breton.
I'd just like to, had a couple officers approach us that our department doesn't have a recruiting video, and they wanted permission to start something like this, and I encouraged them to partner with Laporte High School, which they have done. And high school's very excited. They're gonna have 3 competitions, 3 teams, and start making a video for us. I think it's great to work with our schools that way. Everybody's excited, the students, the officers, and ought to be something. Then we'll vote on the best one, and that's how they're gonna get their grade.
The police department votes on the best
Yes.
one? That's awesome.
Very nice. That is
Yeah.
kind of like a win-win-win.
It
all
Yeah,
is.
around.
It is.
is.
It's a great idea
Do we
for
get
them
to watch?
do that.
I'd love to see those videos.
Oh, yeah, we'll present them when
Okay,
it's all done.
wonderful.
Oh, they're talking smoke and explosions and all kinds of crazy things.
Wow. I hope that you guys are on site for those things, please.
May end up being a promotional video for the fire department as well. Be ready, right? Be flexible.
They need a consultant on this.
Sounds like pyrotechnics.
I've heard that.
That's awesome.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief Breton. Street Department, Mr. Reyes.
We're patching, removing trees, and street sweeping now. Getting ready to go into leaf season pretty soon.
When does leaf season, when do you guys start leaf
Usually by about end of the month.
of October?
Yep,
And you go twice?
twice a year. I mean, twice around.
Smells like fall.
That's right.
And there's cleanup coming up soon, right? Isn't there fall
October-
cleanup? Is it
yes,
October 17th? The week of the 18th to the 22nd?
Yes.
22nd, October cleanup, yeah.
On your regular trash day?
Regular trash day, thank you.
And a reminder, it's cannot burn in the city, right? Burn leaves in the city, cannot do that. Sorry to be a downer on that, so. All right, we'll go to water.
Thank you. So we finished up the preliminary test on our new well field. We're waiting for the chemical makeup from the lab to come back on those. We had good formation in both wells. So we're just waiting for the sieve analysis and everything to come back. But all the tests are completed out there. We're just waiting to get that information. That will determine our screen size, slot size, and as long as all the chemical makeup of the water comes back acceptable. So
When do you expect the results from the tests?
we're hoping this week. So I called the company that's taking care of it for us this morning before I came in here, and the tests were submitted Friday. So it's just waiting for the lab to do that work by a third-party lab. Just so the board and the public knows, you know, we've added some additional testing onto those wells for ammonia levels being that close to the lake. That's something that we've had issues with other wells being close to the lake. So we included that and some chloride testing, just lessons we've learned in the past. So we kind of went above and beyond the normal testing standards to include those numbers. That way we didn't have any surprises once we put that water into our system.
Great.
We'll be starting the fall flushing for the city October 18th. That's a Monday. We usually start on Sunday. There's some conflict with scheduling. One of the main guys that we have on the flushing teams, also in the National Guard, he's not going to get back till Sunday sometime. So we're going to be a day off, but we'll work it out. Just so everybody was aware of that. That should take about 3 to 4 weeks. The system kind of tells us when we're done. We don't have a whole lot of information to collect for the fire department. We did that in the spring. Few areas to get updated flows where we have done some of these dead-end main projects. That kind of changes the flows in those areas. So we're going to update those areas and get that information over to the fire department too. That's all I have this morning.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Wastewater?
We've had some challenges in Monroe Manor with the rain and the mud. They are, this building, the road base was planned for this week, so that's been delayed a little bit. We have got some complaints about mud that I've relayed to the contractor, and I was gonna head down there after the meeting and see how they're doing. It's, you know, the street was completely removed and all the utilities are in and they're ready. I'm talking about Glenview, and they're getting ready to put the road base in, but this rain came at an inopportune time. The key there is we maintain access for all the residents that get in their driveway, and it's been a challenge. The design for our phosphorus removal facilities is pretty much complete. We're gonna apply to IDEM construction permit here shortly, and I'll be back to ask the board for permission to solicit bids on that project, and probably in the next meeting.
All right, thank you. Engineer?
You may have seen 18th Street is finally moving along, so we've got most of the pavement down. I think hopefully weather dependent, things should be wrapping up today or tomorrow, and then we can really start cleaning up. There's a lot of mud right now, as Jerry mentioned, so we'll make sure we get all that cleaned up and hopefully a nice usable trail still yet this year for some students to get to school. And then also I wanted to mention, earlier in the year, we had the board approved signature of the DES number 170076 plan set, and I actually have that title page finally. We stalled out with some additional coordination with the railroad, since this is Boyd Boulevard and that's South Shore, and then getting some environmental documents approved. But we're there now, so we do have signature, so we'll ask you to do that at the end, and it's already been approved.
Awesome, thank you. In blue?
This one's okay in black.
Okay. Thank you. Kind of occurred to me, I think the mayor probably has a lot of the department heads that are in the audience come up first, but, so hopefully you enjoyed some extra time relaxing.
And it's at the end.
Talking about the parks, Mr. Schreiber.
Morning.
Morning.
I would like to invite the public, on behalf of the Park Department and the Healthcare Foundation of Laporte, to a dedication celebration for the Kessler Park Disc Golf Course. That will be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, October 16th. We'll do a ribbon cutting around 11:15, followed by a skills clinic put on for anybody who would be interested in learning how to play disc golf. We'll also have some music, refreshments, giveaways, and of course, a great thank you to the Healthcare Foundation for funding this great new amenity, a 9-hole par 29 disc golf course, which is already getting quite a bit of use out there. So,
Where will you be meeting for the ribbon cutting? What part of the park?
right there at the beginning of the course, right on the first hole. So
Which is
just
where?
enter the parking lot off of 18th Street, and the hole is just as you're coming in, just to the left of the big barn. So, like I said, it's already getting quite a bit of play, so it'll just be exciting to officially dedicate it and encourage people who would like to learn how to play. We've had great success with pickleball and a lot of new learners out there and a lot of people joining out there. So we're hoping to see the same success with the disc golf course. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Bert Cooks?
Yep, he's still here.
Oh, Bert. I have no report. No, okay. How about Dave Heimel, City Planning?
Just one quick plug, David Heinel, city planner, on this, I posted the demolition bids for 150 Pine Lake on the Community Development and Planning's page. And then those will be read at the RDC meeting on October 27th. So we're accepting those until October 18th, which is a Monday. And the only other thing that I have is the Board of Zoning Appeals meets next Tuesday, 6 o'clock, and there's 4 items on the agenda there. So that's all I have.
Thank you. How about Jen Knoll, HR, anything else? No, okay. Let's see, Beth West Transportation?
Good morning. ADA audit paperwork has been turned in. We'll be doing our virtual audit in November 3rd, actually. Just October 12th, really early in the morning. NERC will be coming in to do bus inspections. Since we lease our buses from NERC, they physically inspect every single bus every year. Our maintenance man usually does that, but he's going to be gone, so I have the privilege of meeting them at 5 a.m. to go through all our buses. All of our COVID-tested positive drivers have now tested negative and are back to work, so we're back up to full staff. Third quarter reports are being worked on currently to be turned into NERC, and I'm happy to announce we had over 2,800 riders last month. In 2019, we had well over 3,000, so we're slowly inching our way back up to our normal, whatever normal is anymore. So that's it.
All right, thank you.
How often are those inspections done on the buses, Beth?
The actual on-site inspections are done annually. But Frank, our mechanic maintenance guy, has to fill out reports very often. With our ADA audit, they require paperwork showing what he actually does. So he doesn't buy mileage on the buses, so it isn't an actual date set. But he also has to check all the lifts, because all of our buses have wheelchair lifts on them. So they have to be done. He does them every 8 weeks, and then every 3 months, and then annually. He's got a very extensive checklist he has to go through to make sure that they're all working properly.
Good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Jeff Batchelor, Code Enforcement.
Good morning. One thing I'm going to talk about is that one thing we've stumbled across in the last couple of months or so is people living in houses without water. So we're getting with the water department, getting a list of the people that are actually living in houses. The list of vacant houses that the water shut off is one thing, but when we've got people living in there without water, it's causing a lot of other problems, the bugs and everything else that goes along with it. So that's one of our focuses on for this month.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. And I think save the best for last, Jess Bruder.
Not much to report today. Just excited for Taco Fest. That is going to be our last Friday Night Live event of the year. So we hope lots of people can make it out. And if you know anybody interested in being a vendor, we do already have all of our competitors for the taco cook-off. We aren't taking any more. But anybody interested in being a food vendor or artisan vendor can email me at jbruder@cityoflaportein.gov.
Who gets to vote on the winner of the tacos?
I am putting together a judging team, but I've learned that the mayor does not like spicy food, so he will not be on it.
What a
So I'm gonna
wimp.
find somebody else.
He also doesn't like heights either. We learned that when he went in the bucket truck with us, right?
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jess.
All right, any other business?
I do have, I'm sorry, this didn't make the agenda, but I do have.
They might have made a different agenda. They just
There's a contract in front of us for Great News Life, Laporte County Life, Valpo Life, Portage Life, NWI Life. This is for our partner profile partnership, which I know is important to the administration. And maybe Jess can speak on this better, but this contract includes, as you guys can see, the publishing pass, content creation, social media assistance, social media inclusion, audience. The cost of this agreement is $8,500 for the entire year. We did receive an invoice, but we needed to update the contract before we pay the invoice. So this is in front of you, and I don't know if Jess Bruder has anything more to add for.
This is annual, and we've had this in the past.
I'll just add that they've been an incredible community partner and have been instrumental in helping us get good information out, especially during COVID, about, services that we're still providing, especially like while we were shut down. So they've been really awesome to work with. I have quarterly meetings with them to discuss like potential content for the next quarter. They've just been great to work with, so.
It's nice that you get input then. Okay. It seems like they reach a huge a number of people. Down at the bottom it's stated.
And so they also help even with not just what's on their sites, but with our social media platforms. It looks like they also do some,
They do a lot of
advising or consulting on
posting
that.
on our behalf through their accounts, which we then can share. But their audience, they do have a pretty significant audience, so it's been a good help to us.
sounds like you feel like this is valuable.
Yeah, very valuable, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Any other discussion or questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, sorry. It's passed, thank you. Any other business? All right. I accept a motion to adjourn.
So move. Oh,
Second, oh,
public comment.
oh,
Do you wanna, that's Mr. Johnson for public comment.
that's right,
Up to you.
Do we have any other public comment on Facebook?
No.
I think it's all right. You all right with that?
Absolutely.
Come on up.
I just wanted to comment, sorry about the entire list, I didn't realize this was going on. I would like to, with all due respect, bring to the city with about the 150 Pine Lake Ave. I was the other bid, Cage Inc. is my company. I think that, what it said in the paper and everything, because I didn't get a whole lot of discussion, I talked to a few councilmen and stuff like that, is that tearing down that building would be a bigger injustice than just, having it go to a parking lot like Mr. Lebesnick wanted to be. The structure, I've looked at it, I don't know if Nick's been through it or not. The only walls that are caving in are on the back part of it that is not the masonry thing. I've talked to a masonry contractor, Paul's Construction. The main masonry structure and the main beams of that building are fully intact and everything's repairable. The city says that that's not the direction for what I wanted to put in there, is not the direction they would like to go, but yet they seem to talk about, being more like Valpo and stuff, of which they have 5, 6 microbreweries in that town. It would be a challenge with parking, as is the current location I have, until I expand the parking lot, because I do own the center lot and everything like that. But this would be a twofold process. I thought they were gonna delve more into it than just a one-line, here's what I want to do with it, and here's how much I'd offered for it. They didn't let us, I guess, come to us and ask for the full scope of, Mr. Lebesnick, I guess, is just going to make it a parking lot. That's pretty straightforward and simple. For us, it would be a family-friendly, small microbrewery. We would maintain the structure, kind of like Zorn did over in Michigan City. They took the old firehouse, which also was slated for tear down, and they rehabbed that whole building, and I don't know if any of you have been there, but it's pretty cool. The bank's on board with me. The city obviously is not. So, like I say, I would humbly, respectfully ask to reconsider. That's what I'm planning on doing. The rehab would be, third base would cease to exist. It would be a new place, new eatery. We've talked about wood-fired pizza, whatever, we're not sure. It would be a brewery. The tanks would be up where the glass is, so when you drive by, it would be an attractive-looking setting. We would tear down the L part I think we had in our presentation that sticks out on the south side of the building, if you're facing it, facing west, I guess you would be. And then third base would then be completely rehabbed. Mom's Cafe would be tore down. That lot would be filled in next to Aim Water. Mom's Cafe would probably be renamed, and then we would have a new breakfast place as well. That was my vision. I didn't present the entire plan in writing, in drawings, or anything like that, because I thought that would be the next step. I didn't know it was gonna be, yes, no, let's demo it. On the reverse side, I don't know how many of you recall when Dunkin' Donuts was getting built and how far they are away from the water, as well as when they were expanding Pine Lake Ave there. Compaction's a real problem over there. Don George is a existing standing structure that is going to be able to somewhat circumvent or skirt around those issues of getting compaction, as well as there's pavement there. You can regrind, go right over the pavement. You pull all that up, it's fresh virgin soil, and the city thinks that they're going to just market that for a much larger dollar amount, and possibly you're gonna have A, compaction issues, and B, contamination issues, of which, because it's existing, could be rehabbed and move forward. and make it a viable thing. I guess, you know, that's kind of the part where I think, again, reuse and repurposing what is currently there would be far more valuable to the city than tearing it down and hoping that these other issues don't arise and that it becomes a permanent parking lot forever, which is what I think they're trying to circumvent. So that's kind of my spiel. I mean, I'm fully prepared to, you know, develop the whole thing and do this in conjunction with that. I mean, I have A, B, and C. We were moving forward with possibly building a new facility pre-COVID. COVID took the wheel. If I had been 6 weeks further down the road, I'd have been on the hook for 7 figures and out of business right now. So thankfully, COVID kind of saved me that way. But that's all I have to say. I just would like to see them just pump the brakes a little bit and maybe reconsider and look at some of these issues that I've brought up.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Bring up some great points, and obviously, you know, earlier, Mr. Lebesnick was here and kind of brought up some questions, and I gotta say, like, I think we kind of both feel like it's not been an ideal sort of situation in how this has rolled out. So, of course, you know, we did approve to decline the bids earlier, so that, you know, kind of is in the books, but to the point of pumping the brakes, I mean, I think it is something that we need to revisit and talk with the mayor about, like, kind of how we make sure that this is, we do the, you know, nothing's happening tomorrow, right? So, but that we want to make sure to have things set up appropriately.
I guess
so, you
too,
know,
I am
so-
also, we put a bid in to demolish it too, originally. And then I came to Mayor Dermody and offered, hey, instead of the city writing a check to demolish it, how about we write you a check? And that's, I'm guessing where Mr. Dermody got the idea of, hey, let's go ahead and offer it up for sale like Kent said. So I don't know if that's where it came from, but then all of a sudden the demo was on hold and they went back to, you know, getting bids. So I say I just would respectfully ask that everyone take another look at it, especially with some of the issues that I brought up.
Yeah, I certainly understand kind of how it feels, right, to
Okay.
be in your shoes or Mr. Lebesnick, or any of
Sure.
the bidders, right, that have all
I
had
understand
bids
we
denied.
were
So
the only
it's-
two. I mean, I watched.
Yeah, not the ideal situation, I think, like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
but I don't
Well,
feel
I
we're
think
here.
there was
Apologize for the attire. Like I said, I didn't know this going on. My bookkeeper called and said, there's a meeting going on right now. So I'm like, okay.
No worries.
So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank
for
you very
letting us
much,
speak.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I mean,
And- And just to add, I think, the timeline of everything, our goal is to make sure that if there is not an acceptable reuse of the building, it's down by the end of the year, so we don't go through another winter where it's a dangerous situation. But I think, you know, in rejecting the bids, it does still offer us the opportunity to continue to work with people and negotiate and find the right solution there. So, I think we're still moving forward in a direction to find the highest and best use for the property. And I don't think that anything is fully off the table, but it does make the most sense to make sure that we ensure, you know, safety of the public, and having that building go through another winter likely would become a significant issue, so.
And, you know, and certainly love the fact that we've got, at this point, we've had 3 different entrepreneurs, right, kind of come to the Board of Public Works and talk about their ideas, and so it's really wonderful to kind of have that kind of interest, so.
And we did go through the building and everything, and I don't know if you have, Nick, but it's, like I said, the main arch structures, which are really cool, those were built in the 60s or early 70s, I believe, those are very intact. It's the laterals in between that are caving in, the 2x12s or whatever, so all the repairs would be from the inside of the building to structurally, you know, make it safe, and then you'd go back and re-roof it. And then you're just tuck pointing the main structure, which, like I said, is still very sound, the foundation's good, everything else is still very much usable. So, I mean, we went all through it and everything, and like I say, I consulted with Paul's Construction, who I worked for back a million years ago and everything, so, you know.
It's my-
I think it's a shame to watch it come down.
Mr. Otis, isn't it my understanding that the bids that we received did not conform to, because that's what I had written down when we were talking about that specific issue.
We've had 3 bidders at this point, right? Two,
Correct.
we've bid it out twice, and we've had 3 bidders. All 3 of the bidders have been successful business people in our community, right? Kent's got a great business here in town, Sam Lebesnick does, And Dudley's a newer business guy here in town, but, I mean, already has the really good building downtown. And I think I speak for the entire, you know, the administration. You look at Newport Landing, we've probably had, what, 5, 10 different big plans for, and it's changed, right? And so it's hard to say exactly, you know, I understand Mr. Lebesnick's comments earlier that he was frustrated that he thought our plans changed. It's not easy to say, we're definitely gonna do this, because Kent's right, we could demolish this and there could be some problems we don't know about. We have continually found that out with Newport Landing, right? So it's been very expensive to redo those things, but this is a prime parcel that's been an eyesore for a decade at least, if not more, and we're trying to find a good use for it. I'm not disagreeing with what Kent's people are telling him, but I know the fire department and some of our people have said that structure is not as sound as I think what Kent's people thought. And I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but it's not like we're just, oh, let's demo it. There's definitely some bad parts to that building. I mean, you can look at it.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
it's
That L
it's in
part
rough
on the
shape.
thing
So
is caving in, it's bad.
our plan maybe it changes again, but we also have a plan, hopefully, eventually, to connect all of the lakes, right? And so, right now, Lily Lake is kind of separated from the other lakes, but maybe eventually boats can come all the way from Pine Lake to Lily Lake potentially. And we don't want to, again, maybe Kent would do something great, but we also don't want to give up that land if that could be a place to kayak or something.
And we did in our, if you look at ours, we did say that we would leave one section. Obviously, we couldn't because of the limited parking. That's only 3/4 acre site. For parking, we did say that we'd be willing to hash out a spot to have another kayak launch. So people could come there and launch and or paddle up from the other lakes and then, of course, come to our place.
And Kent took care of a big problem for the city on the east side when he took down the Lady Rose Bar that had been, again, another developer got it, didn't do what they said they were gonna do. This is not a criticism of any of the 3 developers. It's just tough to come up with, and I think I'm speaking for all of the department heads here. It's one specific vision it's hard to come up with for this land, because it's a lot of land in the busiest non-interstate road in the county.
Yeah, and it's not over, right, so we're still in the process, right?
And Kent could have, maybe he comes up with a different plan when this comes down. Who knows, so.
Yeah. All right, now, thank you very much
Okay.
for bringing those
Thanks
to
a
our
lot, you guys.
attention.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Nick.
we have, I think, a motion second
To adjourn?
To adjourn.
adjourn, yes.
Yeah.
Any discussion? No, actually, there's no discussion
I
on,
don't
yeah.
think there's any discussion for that.
That's right, no discussion on, all right, we are adjourned.
You did a great job.